My name is Michele Crozier. I was previously Viveash when I worked for ALLDERS. And I now live in Christchurch in Dorset. I'm 65. I was born in Portsmouth in Southsea, and I was there till I was 14. Mum remarried Terry, Viveash, and we moved to CROYDON. Went to school for a couple of years here. Great experience. Missed Portsmouth though because it was the coast and the beach, and that was amazing, just growing up there. Coming to CROYDON was a bit of a culture shock, I've got to say. But soon settled down, finished school. But yeah, started in the garden department. Worked with a lovely old guy called George Locke. He was amazing. He taught me so much. I started on the same day as a guy called Dave Cheeseman. We were just ordinary staff, sales staff, but he managed to work his way up, as I did, to a higher position. But after gardening, they thought it'd be a good idea to open a camping department. And that was to take the place of Lily White's. I don't know if you remember Lily White's, the sports store from up in town. So that moved out, and we had a camping department. Trying to put tents up on the third floor was something else. That was okay. Where did I go after that? Oh, hang on, I went all round the store. I think I then went down to menswear, men's and boys. And that was absolutely amazing. I was like the only girl, which was fun. It was a bit like, are you being served? very much like that. First of all, I went into the boys' wear department with Betty Ferryman, who was a bit like Mrs. Slocum. Very proper. She was amazing, taught me lots. And then I moved over to menswear. And I worked for Lee Campbell, was my floor controller. And there was some amazing staff there, And it was just glorious, so much fun. But they couldn't understand, because we used to get commission back in the day, couldn't understand why I was earning so much commission. Saying, what's your secret? And I said, well, I don't know. They just like to come to me, and I measure their chests, and I measure their inside legs. And why are you measuring the inside leg? Well, you've got to find out, the trouser length. What tape measure are you using? I said, just a standard tape measure. No. You're supposed to use one with a stiff end on it, pardon the pun. And, I wasn't even supposed to do it, but I was earning a fortune. It was lovely. I had a great time. And we used to serve people like Alan Minter, the boxer. Or we used to shut for Cliff Richard, and we used to close for Arab princes and princesses. And I had a wonderful time. Menswear was the best. It was great fun, great fun. And all the guys were lovely. We had quite a lot of campness going on. It was really good. Alan Minter was the one, because his chest was amazing. He was like so muscly, and he'd just done his championship fight and everything. And he wanted some new shirts. And I remember Mr. Campbell saying, Michele will look after you, Alan. So off I go, and measuring his chest and his neck. It was so much fun. But the perfect gentlemen, most of them, all the time, really nice. So many famous people came through the doors there. And I say we used to close for this royal family, Iranian, or I'm not sure what nationality, but we used to close for them, and we used to have to be very prim and proper, and not look them in the eye, and all that sort of thing. But it was amazing, because it was a beautiful store outside of the West End. It was amazing. So menswear holds lots of fun memories. We used to have some great times, and they all used to look after me, because I was only 17. So then menswear. Where did I go after menswear? Up to soft furnishings. So I went on, what's it called? net curtains or lace curtains or whatever you call them now. I was on there for a while with some real characters again, so many wonderful characters. Then I got moved from there to ready-made curtains, and I was supervisor then, so it was going up in the world a little bit.
What age was that?
I was probably 18, 19. Yeah, we did have a management training scheme there, but I didn't go for that. I just sort of worked my way up. But that was good fun. Lots of lovely. Some of the names escape me now, but so many wonderful people. And just before that time, I think it's when they decided that we needed a social club or something. Well, first of all, I think it was a staff council, because we had a union for all the maintenance staff, but we didn't have anything for the general retail staff. So my dad had then come over from the warehouse, finished driving and was working in the store in radio and TV. And he came up with the idea of a staff council, store council. So that all started taking off, and various members from each department would attend meetings once a month and things like that. And then we started looking at the sports and social side of it. And then we formed the football team, netball team, table tennis team, darts. It was amazing. But our first in-store social event was on a trestle table with a couple of barrels underneath it, or something. It was some makeshift bar anyway, but it grew from that to an amazing venue. I mean, you had people from everywhere coming. So my dad took all that on, and he ran the sports and social side of it, which then it's a whole different ballgame. You meet so many new people, make so many more new friends. And we had a fantastic netball team. Absolutely. I was in the A team with, I don't know if you've interviewed Jackie Rowlands or Jill Harrison. Oh, Jill was actually Peter Saunders' PA, but we all played netball together, and it was amazing. We used to have inter-store tournaments. We always won. We always won. Croydon always won everything. And the boys used to do a lot, and then my dad used to take them all off to Belgium, the football team. Yeah, so Amsterdam. Yeah, what went on in Amsterdam stayed in Amsterdam. Us girls didn't know anything. We were just too busy at home having a good time anyway. What else? Oh, then the club grew and grew. So then the friendship base all grew, and we had the most fantastic times. We've had Bob Monkhouse, we've had Bootleg Beatles, Georgie Fame, Mary Berry, you name it, Elf Garnett. And we had Miss Alders competition. Yeah, back in the late 70s, early 80s, I believe that was. I think it was about the 80s. Yeah, that was fun. And my dad got a poison pen letter, because I entered as well. There was, it must have been about 30 of us from different parts of the store, all dressed up in our finery. And we had some of the Crystal Palace team at the time were there judging, which was fun. And I came second. I came runner-up. Apparently I should have come first, but I had to come second because it was my dad who's arranged it. And my dad's got poison pen letters saying how it was rigged, I should never have been allowed to enter, and all that. It was really bizarre, but it was fun. It was so much fun. And I think we ran that for 2 or 3 years maybe, but that was nice. It was a good get-together. And the Christmas parties, wow, they were amazing. When I first started there, our first Christmas party was at, I think it used to be called Sinatra's at West Croydon, big old dance hall. And it was long dresses and all the bit. It was lovely. It's so nice. That was good fun. And the perfumery girls were always very glamorous with all their makeup and their perfumes. And they always got to sit next to the management table. And the rest of us riff-raff were just everywhere else. But it was amazing. It was just so nice. And there was never really any animosity or nastiness. Everyone just really got on. It was lovely. Really, really great place to work.
You introduced your father. You have to tell his
Oh,
name
right.
What
So
his role was there.
So my dad was Terry Viveash, who most people, if you've spoken to them, would know him. He was there till he passed away in 91. Oh, I still find that quite hard to talk about. But yeah, he passed away in 91. He was a huge, huge part of Alders. You know, you either loved him or hated him. Most people loved him. He was a larger-than-life character. It was large. He was a larger-than-life character. It was an amazing time. He did so much for the staff and the sports and social, as I said, side of it. He worked very, very hard. Got lots of things into place for different people, and I get quite choked talking about him still. And him and Peter Saunders were great mates in the end, which was lovely. And we all used to work for a lot of us girls used to work for Terry up at the club events. We used to have boxing nights. Yeah, we used to have amateur boxing up there, and we used to have to dress up. We would wear dinner jackets and fishnets and little, what do you call them? Not bodysuits, I've forgotten what they're called now. Like leotard type things, you know. We used to dress up like that and walk around the ring with the numbers, and it was amazing. And we had, who did we have? I don't know if you know the comedian Roger Cahorsey with Nookie Bear. He was a compere one night. We had him up there. It was a bit risque but very funny. Barry McGuigan. I do think actually Frank Warren was actually up there, one of the very first ones before he got really famous as a promoter. It was amazing. So we used to have boxing nights, and we used to have cabaret evenings with some really well-known people. Comedy nights, music, Georgie Fame, Freddie and the Dreamers. I know, it was amazing. But the whole of it was the staff restaurant was made into like the social club in the evenings, and it was open 6 nights a week actually. Yeah, so we'd finish at 5:30. We'd just straight up to the bar. But it was lovely. It was just so much fun.
But this was all organised by the staff, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
It was not from the management.
No, it was all done by Dad Terry and a great team of people around him. And all the staff used to join in and help out and everything. You know, some of us would do the hostessing, and some of them would be doing waitressing, because we used to like do proper dinners and things like that. And we had the most fantastic fancy dress nights at Christmas. Mr. Saunders, I remember him Peter Saunders dressing up as, I think he was Captain Hook or something like that. I remember a patch over his eye anyway. And I remember my dad, one of the first fancy dresses we had, my dad Terry dressed up as Henry VIII because he was that sort of stature. Yeah, it was so much fun. And it made going to work a pleasure. You know, now people say, oh, I've got work today, but it wasn't like that. It was, you get up with a hangover and you were straight in to go and get the next hangover at 5:30. But no, it was so much fun, really, really good fun. Then I ended up, where did I end up after furnishings? The lighting department. That's how I know Ray Davey. And a guy called Alan Frost was my manager at the time. He was only a young guy. And that was good. Yeah, that was good fun. And lots of us, I don't know if anyone else has mentioned, but lots of us all met our partners, husbands, wives there. Paul, who I'm married to now, we only got married last year. We were together when we were 17, and we were working in the high street then, and then we both went to Alders together. But I thought the grass was greener, so unfortunately that fizzled out. But because my brother Jan worked at Alders as well. He worked in radio and TV as well, and he was a big part of the football team and the social side. And unfortunately I lost him in lockdown, the first part of COVID. And that's how I got back in touch with everybody at Alders. I didn't know there was an Alders Facebook page. And I put a post up to say that we'd lost him, blah, 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 and everyone was amazing. Hundreds of people, you know the names and you forget the faces, and then you see the faces, you say, oh my goodness, yeah. And Paul, who's my husband, he saw this post on Facebook and got in touch with someone to say, is that Michele Viveash? And they were saying, oh yeah. And then we got in touch 2 years ago, and we got married last year, which is amazing. It's amazing. So, and my brother would be thrilled, and my dad would be amazed. He would be thrilled as well. which is really weird, yeah. So 40 odd years later, we're back together. Yep. So yeah, smashing. It was such a immense part of our lives, that store. And it was so sad when it all finished. So sad. If I hadn't had because I did marry, he married as well, obviously after we split up. But I did marry somebody that I met at Alders. He didn't work for Alders, but I did marry someone that I met there. And we had a daughter and a son. But my daughter, Terry's granddaughter, was on the front of Counterpoint, I think it was called, the paper. She had all her pictures done with Father Christmas, who was Brian Taylor. I don't know if anyone's told you about Brian. He used to work for the maintenance side, painting and decorating. And every year he was Santa. And so that was lovely. He was a great dancer, Jive especially. They used to get two of us up on the dance floor together, and that was amazing. But yeah, so my daughter was part of Alders as well, if you like. She was in the paper and things like that. First there, it was a managing director, I think his name was Tim Daniels. I think that rings a bell, Tim Daniels. He was a very nice guy, very approachable. And then obviously he left and Peter Saunders came, and yeah, he was an amazing boss. All the senior management were very, very approachable, always approachable. There was Peter, there was Roger Stanbrook, Jeff Easter, or something like that. There was loads, but they were always approachable. You didn't think, oh my God, here comes the boss. He was just there, always, every morning, good morning, welcomed everybody to work every day. You know, it was lovely, and he got involved in everything. He was really great fun. All the evenings the events we used to have, they were always there, super supportive all the time. The pleasure to work for, actually, really, really, really was. I don't remember the old bosses. I think that was a bit before my proper time there. But Tim, I'm sure it's Daniels, Mr. Daniels, yeah, and Peter Saunders were just, yeah, great fun. And outside of the work environment, when it was the social side, they were no different to anybody else. It was nice, yeah, very approachable. And him and my dad, Terry, used to have some real late nights up at that club. Real late nights. My mum just used to get so fed up with it. Yeah, they used to have some great nights. But they used to, what's the word? Not argue, debate. They were quite opinionated, both of them, you know, quite headstrong, but in a real good way, banter. And yeah, they were great friends, great friends. Yeah, couldn't have had a better boss. I don't know when he left, actually. I'm not sure. I mean, I left because I left to have a baby. So I left in 88, although I still went back and helped out at functions and things. I don't know how long Peter was still there afterwards. I'm not sure. I worked there from 1975, 76 to 1988, beg your pardon, when I left to have my baby, to have my daughter. And then I went back to help out at different functions and things for the next couple of years until we lost Terry in 91. Yeah, which was a massive shock, totally out of the blue. I remember phoning Peter Saunders the night it happened. Yeah, big shock for everybody. And there'll never be another, because he was a one-off. But I don't even know what happened to the club after that, or the social side of it, because I just couldn't bring myself to go back in there again, which is quite sad, because I loved it there. But I've still got lifelong friends. We're all still really friendly. We all chat on the Alders thing, which is lovely. And all of a sudden a name will come up, you think, oh my goodness, I remember them, I remember her, I remember him. But sadly, the last few weeks we've lost a few as well. Some really nice, lovely people. And when people say it was like one big family, it really was. It really was. It was never us and them. The management were, yeah, really, really great to work for. I'd love to do it all again, but you can't go back. You can't recreate it.
How was the relationship between the staff and the customers?
Oh, it's interesting. But there was, so I'd say 90% of the time, the staff-customer relationship was amazing, real, you know, and we were very proper, not like today. You had to speak to them, you had to approach, and it was sir and madam, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And most of the time it was amazing. It was amazing. As when I first started, it was all handwritten receipts and bills and using the tube system. I don't know what the proper name for it is, but you know, you put the money in the tube and you send it up the chute and it rattles round the store all the way round, and sometimes you got the right one back, sometimes you didn't. But no, it was lovely. And yeah, most of the customers, because it was such a beautiful store, people loved to come in there and they were treated properly. You know, we were trained how to serve and speak to people and, you know, get the best out of them, and they got the best out of us. It was amazing, amazing, lovely work relationship with customers. Really nice.
Did you have any complaints from the customers about things?
Oh, now and again you would, always. I mean, especially when you work menswear and boyswear, you used to, not very often, but you used to get someone that would buy something, take it home and wear it, bring it back the next day and say it's not been worn, and we'd have to say, well, you know, I'm really sorry, but we can tell that it's been, and you'd have a bit of a, what's the word? I don't know. Not an argument, but you'd have a bit of a standoff sometimes. But in the end, to be fair, the customer always won. They were always right. That's just how we looked at it. You can't afford to be in that situation. You've just got to go with it. Yeah, it was good. We had a fantastic security team as well, because we used to get, before the tags, security tags and all that came out, there used to be quite a lot of shoplifting, because there were so many entrances and exits there. They were all over the place. You had the arcade, you had George Street, and you had Drummond Road or whatever it was. Yeah, we used to have a really good security team. Which, yeah, amazing actually. But most of the customers, and we had repeat customers all the time. And the sales, the January sale was a January sale or a Boxing Day. And you know, when you used to watch it on telly and they queue around the block, we had that. And we had our first £1 million day one year. We wanted to do 1 million. We'd never been done before, and we did it. And that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. And the customers were amazing, all queuing up, banging on the doors, waiting for 9 o'clock, and they'd rush in up to radio and TV to get the biggest telly they could for however much at the time, or the fur coat that they wanted when you were allowed to wear them. But it was, yeah, it was amazing, amazing. Yeah, great times. Customers were lovely. We had lots of, you know, as I say, return customers all the time. It's really nice. And you got to know them quite well. You know, sometimes Christmas cards and little presents, you know, you get and things like that. It was lovely. I remember when I first started, I said I went to gardening. We used to sell, on the 3rd floor, next to the toy department, we used to sell ride-on lawnmowers, which is crazy. But I remember one Christmas, I sold a ride-on lawnmower. Great commission for that was. And George Locke, he was a lovely old guy. He said, go on, you take it, you can sell that. I said, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. Anyway, I sold this guy this lawnmower, and it was for his mother, which was bizarre. And he said, do you think you could gift wrap it? And I looked at this lawnmower, I said, I don't think I can. I maybe can put a bow on it or something. And I remember I got this great big red bow and tied a big bow round it, and he had it delivered, and he was over the moon, as was his mum. And he came in and, yeah, bought me chocolates and thank you cards, and, yeah, you just looked after people and they looked after you, which was lovely. And it's sad it's not like that anymore, because there's no shops now. It's all press a button and you get what you want. But, yeah.
Can you describe a little bit when you, maybe for lunch break, you came out of the shop? How did it look like, the whole setting there?
Outside of the store? Yeah. Oh, stunning. It was just... The whole high street then was just amazing anyway. It's just a sea of people all the time, and every shop was full and open, and the store was very imposing, I'd say. It's just such a beautiful building. And our rival was Debenhams because it was right opposite us, and we used to have competitions at Christmas who could do the best Christmas window. And one year I remember they wrote a poem to us, so we wrote a poem back to them, and it was like, come on, it was just amazing. But the store, yeah, the windows always looked amazing. Our display staff were second to none. They were so good, and the Christmas windows especially, were just amazing. Yeah, we had a fantastic display team. It was just always buzzing. There was just always something going on. Yeah, and the high street was just amazing then.
Describe a little bit. While you walk up and down.
So the Whitgift Centre at the time, when I first started, had a pub in the middle called the Whitgift. You remember that? Yeah. And we had a coffee shop on the mezzanine floor that led straight out onto the Whitgift Centre. So you used to go out of there, and then you had all these wonderful new shops that you could see, and this pub in the middle. So depending on what break you were on, everyone used to make a beeline to the pub. I mean, management as well. Come back and what was that little spray, gold spot you used to spray in your mouth so you didn't smell. Bit of perfume. So you didn't smell of smoke. Well, I've never smoked, but it used to be like that. But the high street itself, bustling. Debenhams always looked amazing. Just trying to think what was along there then. You didn't have that new shopping bit that you've got now where, is it John Lewis or House of Fraser in Croydon? Yeah, that bit wasn't there. Yeah, House of Fraser. That wasn't there. Just lots and lots of little individual boutiques and men's clothing shops and pubs and bars, and just lively, just amazing. I mean, I'd walk round Croydon 1, 2 in the morning then. Back then, it was so safe, very, very safe. Yeah, and the Whitgift Centre was fun. There's lots of new shops in there. River Island, the Disney store, and jewellers, and Woolworths. Yeah, huge Woolworths we used to have. Missed that. That was a really great shop. And what else do we have there? Marks and Spencer's, the usual sort of things. But yeah, just to go out, you got a bit of a thrill going out into the high street, and it wasn't pedestrianised, it was all buses, cars, just always busy. Lovely, very bubbly and sort of almost cosmopolitan in a little way. It is more so now, but multicultural and everything. But no, it was really, really cool, really cool. And then we had the visit from the Queen. Did you hear about that? Yeah. Yeah, I think I must have been inside the store when that happened because I wasn't management trainee. But the Queen came to Croydon and it was amazing. And so all our security staff were in their uniforms, and all the young management trainees were all lined up outside. That was pretty amazing. I can't remember the day that well, but I remember the picture that Alan put up, and I thought, oh yeah, I remember that now. And they were all standing outside waiting for us to come along, and yeah, it was pretty special, really, really special. But then that was just Alders. That's what it was, just special. It just holds such a big place in my heart. Yeah, it's amazing place.
Tell us again when you how was the process when you started working there?
When I started, right. So you do the usual apply, like you're supposed to. So I made an application to the store, got the position, and my first day, I think we spent 3 days up in the personnel section being trained on how to write out the dockets, how to speak to the customers. And I think the 3 of us started at the same time. There's myself, Dave Cheeseman, and I think it was Julian, I can't remember what his surname is, but Julian. So Julian went on to be a management trainee. Dave and myself were we weren't just anything. We were retail assistants, if you want to call it that. So the training was a bit daunting because we come from school straight to that sort of environment. But we were quite excited, and Dave and I actually got to work together in the gardening department, so that was quite nice, so we knew each other. And then from then you meet a few other people, and then the boys, there was Dave, there was so many, gosh, so many people. yeah, you all start to form friendships, and the training side of it was good. They did really look after you, take you under their wing. You know, when you approach a customer, you say this, and you know, this is how you write that, and don't be scared of the tube system. And it was just amazing. It was a lot of one-on-one, and it was all the proper old-fashioned tills. I mean, I remember we had a power cut, and we just have to wind the tills up. I remember that. And then when we went computerised, oh my goodness, they were like massive things, you know, and you just put the docket in and you press a button and it prints it all. And yeah, so the training was good, but it was ongoing training. It didn't ever stop. It didn't ever stop. And because I wasn't on the management programme, there was Julian again. Julian and I, no, he wasn't on the management. We were invited to go to Croydon College and do a course there to help us with our progress. So I think we did that for a term, if you like, and we both came out very well out of it, actually, and which was really good. But Alders paid for all that, so that was good. And if I hadn't gone on maternity or whatever, I probably would have stayed there until the store closed, because I just loved it. I loved it. Yeah, just ongoing training. It didn't stop. There was always something new happening. You know, technology was coming in, and everybody had to be trained and retrained. So I started off with sales, and I ended up assistant manager by the end of my time there, which was great. Yeah, it's just always ongoing training, and a lot of the management trainees that left gone on to do wonderful things. You know. Really good things, got their own businesses and gone on to other bigger companies, done really, really well. They also used to do it at Oxford Summer School. The management trainees used to go to that, and a few of them done very, very well from there, very well. But I think a lot of the management trainees used to come from quite good families, if you get my meaning. But still amazing people to work with, great fun to be around, and yeah, as I say, it was always ongoing training. It's really good.
You mentioned cultural vibes in the borough.
Yeah, that changed.
Can you say how that was in Alders? Was there a good cultural mix?
Yes, absolutely. I think so. When I started in gardening again, George Locke, who was the guy that looked after me, he was a black guy, and he was, but a right Londoner as well. You know, proper. He was born here, but he was amazing. We had a real good mix actually there, really good mix. Asian, black. I don't know. There wouldn't have been a lot of sort of Europeans then, I don't think, Eastern Europeans or whatever then. But no, everyone was fantastic. I mean, we had them in the netball. We had Avril in our netball team. She must have been 6'6". She was a beautiful, lovely girl, or lady now. She still plays netball. Yeah, there was quite a good mix actually. It was a good mix, and there was never any racial prejudice or anything like that. It was very good, because the west of Croydon going into London was more mixed culturally. This end of Croydon was still quite white at the time, to be fair, but everybody integrated. It was great. Yeah, it was really good, no problems. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It was just such an amazing time, amazing part of my life. And when I moved down to Christchurch, down to Bournemouth, I applied for positions in department stores down there, and it just was never the same. But then, sadly, a lot of them have closed now anyway and gone. But it was amazing. I mean, God, we had so many staff. Can't remember the full amount in the store in the end, but I think altogether with the warehouse and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, it was amazing. And everybody from the delivery drivers to the guys that worked in the sub-basement, right up to top management, all connected and just gelled and got on. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
What?
Oh,
What
so sad, so sad. Again, I saw that on the orders page, end of an era, and yeah, I got to say I shed a tear. I must admit I did. It was so sad because it was such a big part of all our lives then, especially 70s and 80s, I think. I know lots of people worked there in the 90s as well and they've had a fantastic time. But the 70s and 80s, it was such a massive change going on then. And yeah, it was very, very sad to hear that it was closed. But like so many of the other places as well, it's very sad. And when I came up last year to visit family and friends and we came into the high street, Paul and I, we stood there and we just couldn't believe it was the same place. It was just deserted, boarded and graffiti and it was such a, I think it was quite a glamorous town, to be fair, back then. It was really nice. Yeah, it was very sad. And then I saw it was all scrubbed up. I thought, oh, it's been sandblasted, it looks like the front of the store. Oh, this is promising. And then, of course, this came up as well, and I thought, oh, this is really good. So something positive hopefully will come out of it all. But it just needs to breathe some life back into the town, I think. It's very sad to see it like that. But yeah, I was very sad when it closed. Very sad.
So what would you wish to happen to the building for the future?
Something really fabulous, because there's inside, have you been inside? Oh my goodness, my goodness. You see the main shop floors, but beyond that, there's little hidden places that you'd never know about that are really, really old, where they used to keep the dummies for the windows and the dressmakers' dummies and all that. There used to be an old, like, higgledy-piggledy little way into these places, and there'd be arms and legs and things hanging out all over the place. And then when they used to make the curtains, the sewing room, that was in a really, really, really old rickety part, old beams and wooden tables, and yeah, the stock rooms and the ticket room and all behind the scenes, so much. It'd just be lovely to see some life there, whatever, as long as it's something good. I mean, because some of these stores I've seen, especially in Bournemouth, the Debenham store has been taken over by some company, but it's all little shops within the big shop, and it's not the same. It needs something special in there, I think. I don't know what it's going to be or what's going to happen, but I'd love to come back and see it if it happens. Yeah.
So, you said you left when you were having your child.
Yeah.
Did you go back to work after that? And if so,
I didn't go
what?
back to work there full time. I helped out with, there was an evening, special evening or whatever, helped my dad out. Yeah, helped my dad out a few times, and then obviously I lost him in 91, and I didn't really come into Croydon after that because I was so sad. Then I went on to have my son as well. And then we moved down to Bournemouth. So I did a bit of retail then, but nothing like I did here. I sort of drifted from one job to another, really. Always worked, but just different things. Catering, sales, whatever. But now I'm electrical engineering. I work for a company that does electrical engineering, and we make lots of parts for the MOD, Boeing, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, totally different career path altogether. Well, it's not a career, it's a job now, but totally different to anything I've ever done before. Because wherever I went, you could never get the same vibe as you had working there. It was totally different. I think a lot of people would say that as well. You know, you can't recreate it really. You know, you sort of hope you can. That's why when I went to Bournemouth, I thought there was a beautiful store down there called Beale's. Beautiful old store. Put me in mind of Grant's when Grant's was here. Really old-fashioned, beautiful old place. And I actually got a job there. But it just didn't feel right, so I didn't pursue it. I just went and did something else. Waitressing or something, I think it was. But yeah, never, ever recreate what we had there. It's one of those.
So So looking back at your time working at ALLDERS, are there any lessons that you took with you from that, from your working experience?
Just how to treat people, I think, is a lot of it. And friendships. You know, as I said, we made lifelong friends, all of us there, and lots of us married people that we've met there and vice, you know, things like that. And just how to treat people and to be treated the same back. You know what I mean? Just, yeah, lots of lessons. Yeah, lots of lessons.
Elaborate on this, how to treat people a bit. What does it mean even with that?
Well, just to treat people how you expect to be treated, with courtesy and kindness and polite. Just be nice to people, be kind. And, you know, we did have the odd tussle with customers, but you spoke to them in the way that they like to be. Vice versa, you just treat people how you'd like to be treated. That's how I can look at it. And I did learn lifelong lessons there. I mean, I learned a lot. I mean, when I was at school, I was rubbish at maths. I didn't really enjoy school very much. But when I went to ALLDERS, you think you haven't learned anything at school until you start to write it down, before it became computerised. When you start to write it all down and you think, do you know what? Yeah, I'm really learning here. And you do. You learn so much. Accounts, as I say, how to speak to people, how to, because obviously I was a supervisor and an assistant manager, so you don't give someone something to do that you wouldn't do yourself. You wouldn't expect them to do it if you don't do it. So it's just give and take and courtesy and, yeah, just lots of life skills, I'd say I learnt there. Lots of life skills. And you take it on to wherever else you work. Yeah, because when I did have a retail job in Bournemouth, I worked for Wilkinson's or Wilco's or whatever they're called now. I worked for them for a short time, and the manager said to me, I can't believe how you talk to customers. I said, oh, why? Was I rude? And he said, no, totally unbelievable. You know, so-and-so came in and asked for you specifically. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, that's just old school. That's just how we were taught, and that's just how we were brought up as well. And to respect people. That's respect, I suppose, is the biggest thing. Respect people, and yeah, that's pretty much what I took away from it all, really. Learned a lot of life skills. Wish I could say how to manage money, but that didn't work. We always overspent. You were always skint before the next payday, but, you know, you just got on. Yeah, that was good.
It's lovely.
Is that it?
Is there anything else you'd like to
No, I could talk for hours about it and about different things that have happened, but a lot of it is, yeah, it was just amazing, honestly. Amazing. We had some most fantastic characters that worked there. I mean, when Lily Whites was there, the sports department, we had Clinton Mackenzie and Duke Mackenzie, both went on to be professional boxers. They both worked in the sports department at one time. So there's lots of things coming back now. But, you know, it was just amazing. It just was an amazing place. And, you know, I'm sure people because my friend Jeannie, who worked with me in lighting, she left not long after I did, and she went to work at Fortnum and Mason. And she had the same thing there. Although she loved ALLDERS as well, she's got lifelong friends that she met there. I think it's just a group of people and the atmosphere, and it's just amazing. It really is. No other job like it. Never had one like it since. So, yeah. And this is my last year of working as well. I'm finishing next February, I've decided. But if I hadn't had my daughter, which I'm so glad I did, and my son, I would have stayed there right till the end, definitely. I loved it, absolutely loved it.
How was the performance assessment at ALLDERS? Was there a formal process?
Yeah,
How did management...
We used to have meetings, I suppose, one-on-one meetings with your manager or your controller, and he would tell you what he thought you should be doing. If you weren't doing enough of this, then maybe try and do that. And there was, as I say, it was continuous training. So not very often was there a disciplinary or anything like that, because people were so happy working there, to be honest. You know, it was all, I mean, now and again you'd get the odd person that wasn't really up for the job and shouldn't be there, but very, very rarely. But it was like, yeah, performance related. You had, sometimes you had a set target you had to meet, probably in departments like furniture, the bigger departments, and radio and TV, you probably had performance targets. But most of the time it was, one-on-one, just to see how you're developing and if you're doing what they want you to do. But very rarely were there any disciplinaries or anything. It was, pretty good.
So were they fair?
Very fair, very fair, very fair.
Okay.
Absolutely. I can't remember one occasion where, I can't remember an occasion where somebody was sacked. I mean, there probably was, but I don't remember any. It was sort of, you went and you spoke about it, aired your grievance, and that was it really. And I suppose it was a bit like take it or leave it. If you don't like it, then obviously there's the door. But most of the time it was sorted on there and then. Very rarely.
You mentioned that some staff had a union.
Oh yeah, so the maintenance staff, like the engineering and the maintenance staff, they were in a union where we didn't have that for the staff. So hence why Terry, my dad, started this store council. So if we had any grievance at all with management or with anything that was going on in the store, we had a representative from every floor that would go to a meeting once a month or whatever and put it to the store council, and then they'd put it to the management, and we'd come up with a solution. It was that sort of thing. So it was, but before that, we didn't have that. You just sort of had to bite the bullet and try and sort it on your own without causing too much problems. But the store council was a great idea, actually.
So your dad was quite a significant person.
Yes, he was. I mean, he started off driving lorries, and then he had an accident in one of the lorries. He hurt his leg or something, so they took him into the store, and he went into radio and TV, and their stock keeping thing, it wasn't very regime or whatever they want to call it, wasn't that brilliant. So he introduced a stock system, which was then rolled out throughout the store, which was really, really good. And as with the store council, that went group wide as well. Okay. So he was quite a pioneer for the day. It was very much for the staff. Yeah, very much for the staff. He did an awful lot. And I think when you speak to Peter Saunders, he'll clarify that. But I mean, they were both big characters. And Peter Saunders' stepson, Steve Foster, used to play for Brighton and England. Played for England as well. So he's got a few stories too.
Wow.
But because we used to have a lot of the Palace players up at the club for different events, presenting awards to the netball and football teams and all that sort of thing. Yeah, so it was really, really great. Big Palace fans. My dad and Peter Saunders, big Crystal Palace fans. All just used to have a box at the Palace ground, Selhurst Park. Yeah, so big Palace fans. So it was amazing. Yeah, it's good.